Picking up communication, sir.
I have a fix on it, Captain. I believe I can lock on it. Get a picture of their bridge.
Put it on the screen.
"50 years, 10 villains. There's some math in there somewhere. Anyway, here are my top 10 Star Trek villains and a few honorable mentions. Number 10, Lord Krug. Star Trek III is a pretty mediocre Trek film, and Lord Krug is a pretty two-dimensional character. But he was the first major Klingon villain to actually, look like a Klingon. And he did kill Kirk's son and force the destruction of the original Enterprise.
Get out! Get out of there!
And Christopher Lloyd is pretty awesome in general. By the way, did you know Edward James Olmos auditioned for this role?
Great Scott.
Number 9, Charles Evans, aka Charlie X. This is why you don't give unsupervised children psionic powers. They grow up to be murderous douchebags.
Don't laugh at me!
Kirk's efforts to instill some humanity in Charlie came too little too late. Charlie was so powerful he could make people just go away with his mind. Wait a minute. Psychologically unstable and petulant with a lot of power? That sounds familiar.
I am the king. I will punish you.
Number 8.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
Okay, give me a second, Abrams-verse haters, and I will address your concerns. Nero is a blue-collar Romulan out for revenge for the destruction of his world. He's uncouth, unhinged, and unreasonable. That's a trifecta of uns that make a good villain. Now, I know a lot of diehards and purists hate the Abrams-verse, and for some good reasons. This is not the Star Trek we grew up with. But that aside, you have to admit Nero is a good villain. If not, just pretend I only said this in an alternate timeline. Number 7, Lore. Oh, what a missed opportunity that Lore was never a movie villain. Imagine having the Enterprise crew having to face him on the big screen instead of doing whatever it was they did in Insurrection and Nemesis. I don't remember, I've blocked those 2 movies from my mind, and no, I will not go back and watch them. Anyway, the evil twin android brother thing works so well, in large part due to Brent Spiner's acting. Remember that episode when he played Data, Lore, and Dr. Noonien Soong? Admit it, you forgot it was one guy playing all those parts. He was that good.
So, you're still alive.
Number 6, the unnamed Romulan commander from Balance of Terror. What a great episode. This is our first look and the Federation's first look at the Romulans. What I love about this episode is that we got to see things not just from Kirk's point of view, but from the Romulan commanders as well. And you know what? He's actually very relatable. He's a conflicted warrior who wants peace and even tells Kirk they would have been friends in a different life. The Romulan commander provides a worthy adversary for Kirk in this fantastic cat and mouse episode. Mark Leonard, the actor who played the Romulan commander, would go on to play Sarek, Spock's father. Number 5, the Shakespeare-spewing, Chancellor-killing General Chang.
Tickle us, do we not laugh? Prick us, do we not bleed? Wrong us, shall we not revenge?
It helps to be a villain in one of the best Trek films, and that bald look really stands out. But did you ever notice Chang's tactics are more Romulan than Klingon? I mean, he's part of a treacherous conspiracy, and when it comes time to throw down, he hides behind a cloaking device. I think there's a word for that. So much for Klingon honor, huh?
Shame.
Number 4.
I'm not just any Cardassian. I'm Gul Dukat, commander of the Second Order.
What do I think of Gul Dukat? Deep Space Nine is much more serialized than most Trek shows, especially in later years. And that serialization helped writers turn Dukat into one of Trek's most complex villains. Gul Dukat goes from oppressor to the oppressed, back to oppressor, and eventually completely embraces the dark side. Good job, Gul Dukat. We hate you. Enjoy eternity with the Pirates. Number 3, Locutus of Borg. Okay, Best of Both Worlds Part 1 has perhaps the best cliffhanger in television history. Captain Picard is revealed to be Locutus of Borg, and Commander Riker has no choice but to fire their secret weapon at the Borg ship and the altered Picard.
Mr. Worf. Fire.
After a summer of waiting, pre-binge watching live TV be damned, we find out the weapon fails.
The Borg ship is undamaged.
Possible.
Locutus explains that he has the knowledge of Picard, and thus the Borg were prepared for the secret weapon, making them seem invincible. And then he throws this barb.
Your resistance is hopeless. Number 1.
Ouch, twist the knife. I rank Locutus so high, though, not just for what he does in this episode, and destroying 40 starships and killing 11,000 people is a pretty big deal, but also because he changes the character of Picard forever and creates the haunted version of Sisko that we know at the beginning of Deep Space Nine. It's a lasting effect unlike anything in the Star Trek multiverse. Before we get to the top 2, here's some few honorable mentions. Kai Wynn. I hate two-faced people. I hate passive-aggressive people. I hate Kai Wynn. John Frederick Paxton. Not to be confused with this guy, or this guy. He's the one who wanted to kick out all the illegal aliens from Earth, so he's more like this guy. Dr. Tolian Soren. He killed Kirk. It wasn't a very satisfying death. He wasn't a very compelling villain, but he killed Kirk. Kind of a big deal. The M113 creature. I first watched this episode when I was a kid, and when you're 8 years old, this is pretty scary.
It's coming to suck the salt out of you, Captain Kirk. Good God, no! The suction cups! Watch out for the suction cups!
Anorax, because I gotta pick someone from that Voyager show. And my last honorable mention, Mirror Spock. Okay, I'll admit it, this is just for the goatee. Mirror Spock actually ends up being a hero in the end, but with that goatee, he looks like the devil himself. Awesome. Number 2.
I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive, buried alive.
So this is a tough one, but I'm putting Khan Noonien Singh at number 2. The character of Khan is like 2 different characters. Okay, 3 if you count him, and I don't. Anyway, in Space Seed, Khan is more calculating, a thinking man's villain.
Captain, although your abilities intrigue me, you are quite honestly inferior.
In Star Trek II, he's more, wrathful?
From hell's heart, I stab at thee.
Gene Roddenberry himself did not like the version of Khan in Star Trek II, saying the character in the TV episode was, quote, deeper and better. I would argue that being marooned on a planet that becomes all but lifeless would change a man, so there's that. Number 1.
What do you want, Q? Moi?
Who would have guessed an omnipotent being could be so petty? But that's what makes Q so great. For all his power, he has plenty of flaws.
Oh, I haven't the vaguest idea what you're talking about.
He's next of kin to chaos, constantly causing problems for the Enterprise crew and teaching some harsh lessons along the way.
If you can't take a little bloody nose, maybe you ought to go back home and crawl under your bed.
So remember, kids, always clean out your ears so you can hear Q's tips. Alright, that's my favorite top 10 Star Trek villains. Who are your favorite baddies? Please let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Aludra Prime also has a Facebook page. You can find that in the links below. That's it for now. Take care and live long and prosper or something.